All right, we're back. A magic trick that gone awry, I think, George.
Okay, Joe.
We had some audio problems, but apparently it was on my end, not yours. So I guess everybody was probably hearing all the great review that you were laying out there on the "Now You See Me, Now You Don't" threequel here. But so we're talking about the sequel here, the third in the series that started way back in 2013. And I was saying, this is a series that has made quite a bit of money, over $300 million takes in both the first two movies. I don't know if we'll get that same, given the way the box office is these days, if
But
we'll see that with this. But you like the movie, though, right?
Yeah, and Lionsgate is desperate because Lionsgate
Yes.
had a hit, and this is the closest thing they have to a franchise.
Right.
Other than the Hunger Games films.
Correct.
It's that and this, and it's like the Hunger Games, the past three films were, let's be charitable and call them weak. At any rate, you got
with another to come.
Yeah, you got these musicians, or do you, ripping off crypto bros in a bar where they're appearing and redistributing the funds. Basic Robin Hood. Except it's not the Four Horsemen. It's three other illusionists / magicians, whatever, who are imitating the horsemen. Now, if you're a horseman, what are you going to do? You're going to be a bit ticked up.
Yeah.
So Daniel, Jesse Eisenberg's character, is a bit ticked off. He tracks them down to their lair, which is them squatting in a New York City loft, a teched out loft, but squatting nonetheless.
Yeah.
And there's this mysterious entity in all these movies called the Eye. And apparently the Eye has called them all to join together. The problem is Danny, whatever you want to call him, is estranged from the other horsemen. So they have to assemble like the Avengers, and everybody's gotten this card that says, get back together, doggone it. We got to do this. And the Eye has a mission for him, which is basically taking down a diamond magnet who cleanses dirty money for assorted shady characters throughout the world. Magnate is played by Rosamund Pike. You know what? Oh, this is improbable as all hell. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Right.
To do the tricks they do, the illusions they perform, and get them on film, is part of the fun with these movies. I mean, it's a bunch of actors getting together, knowing what they're in, and having a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you appreciate it because the action moves so quickly and the tricks fly so furiously that you're not bothering really to pick this thing apart critically. You're not. You're just along for the ride. And there's nothing wrong with that. That was the appeal for me. The performances are what they are. There's plenty of humor. If I'm not mistaken, it's directed by the guy who did one of the Zombieland movies.
He did the first Zombieland movie.
So there you go. And, I'm not going to begrudge anyone who likes this, including myself. And I own the first two movies. So
okay. Well, yeah, and sometimes I think, like you've said before, you just need that escapism, and here's a movie maybe for some people to kind of escape from the seasonal depression that is winter, especially in Northeast Ohio there. So so it'll have it'll be an interesting box office take this time around. I know the sequel did much better overseas than it did domestically, although the first one was over 100 million domestically and overseas. But obviously, you've got second weekend of Predator Badlands, you've got The Running Man for competition, and then of course next week you've got Wicked for Good, which will blow everybody out of the water. But it's an opportunity here to maybe cash in, like you said, for Lionsgate, trying to continue to basically save the company, and this is kind of what they're doing here with the franchises. Of course, another Hunger Games coming out, but I'm sure as long as they can make these movies at a mid-level budget, they'll probably continue to do so because I think they'll continue to make a little bit of money. But just another sequel here in the age of sequels. But our next movie, though, is a vision come to life finally after decades in the hopper for Guillermo del Toro, one of the great directors working. It's Frankenstein. Unfortunately, though, for you, you'll have to have Netflix at this point to watch the movie. But George has seen the movie. What'd you think?
I watched the movie yesterday, and it stuck with me.
Okay.
Now, mind you, it's no secret that I had a kidney transplant. And right now, I'm on a higher dose of steroids. With steroids comes insomnia. So the movie stuck with me. I wasn't able to sleep last night, so I found myself in my office here, 12:30 last night, just planning to start the review, right?
Yeah.
Of course I did. I am up to 630 words.
Okay.
And I put that together in 40 minutes. I love the movie.
Good.
I absolutely love the movie. Some people are claiming it's disappointing, but Guillermo del Toro, I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's almost too elegant, and I write this. It's almost too elegant to be horror.
Yeah.
But it's sumptuously filmed in this different kind of, I don't know if patina is the right word, where it hovers between black and white and color.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gray funk to it, the way he shoots it, but more importantly, the story is captivating. Now, there's some fat there that I could have done without.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, this is probably, since the Universal horror film, which was only 93 minutes for the record, this one is 220 something. This is from what I understand, the most faithful adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein novel.
Yeah.
And I get why past directors have gone for that straight horror element.
Right.
But Guillermo del Toro is reaching for something different here. He's reaching for depth emotionally. He's trying to figure out what makes man a monster and what makes a perceived monster more humanistic. And he does so brilliantly, I think. Mm-hmm. Oscar Isaac, wonderful performance, stars as Victor Frankenstein. He's arrogant, he's narcissistic, he's egotistical, all these things. He has this expressed need to one-up his late father, who was an abusive jerk, for lack of a better term, and a doctor as well. Mm-hmm. And his fascination becomes creating life. And, he meets, he draws the attention of a wealthy benefactor played by Christoph Waltz. I love Christoph Waltz.
Who doesn't love Chris? He could read the menu at Arby's and probably win an Oscar for it.
I mean, and dude, he's in the latest Only Murders in the Building. I don't know if you watched that.
I have not. We watched the first season and just kind of fell off of it, even though we really enjoyed it. It did nothing wrong to not warrant more watching. But yeah, we haven't caught up on the rest of it. I know it's like season 5 now, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's in it, and he's absolutely wonderful, as you might expect. At any rate, he plays a wealthy benefactor who basically says to Dr. Frankenstein, who's broke because his passions got in the way of his common sense, I'll give you all the resources you need if you can make your vision of creating life come true. And, obviously there are strings attached to this, and they're eventually revealed. But the much of the film's fat comes in. I know he's a 2-time Oscar winner. I could have done with fewer Christoph Waltz scenes. Let's go there. but when you get into the meat of the story, and it's told from two perspectives, well, technically three. There's the prologue. How did Victor Frankenstein get here? There's Frankenstein's story leading up to how he created the creature.
Yeah.
And there's the creature's perspective. I've never read the novel. I don't know if the novel unfolds that way, but this tells the story in such a different manner that you're getting both perspectives and you're allowed to make your own judgment. The thing is, the judgment for a reasonable person, an objective person, isn't hard to make. You know, the fundamental question is, who's the monster?
Yeah.
Is it Victor Frankenstein or the creature who he abuses to start, but soon shows sign of emotional depth and intellect, and the only thing that holds him back from this being accepted by broader society is his hideous look. I don't know how hideous you could say Jacob Elordi looks, even with scars, but there you go.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, the creature is not the monster. Frankenstein is.
Yeah.
And how Guillermo del Toro gets these elements to work together is compelling. It's intelligent. I love the way he filmed the movie, and you know, I'm probably teetering at a B+ because of that.
Yeah.
Me bump it up to an A-. I know lots of Guillermo del Toro purists don't like it, but you know what? I did. You beat me for 2.5 hours on a Tuesday afternoon, and you've got my attention. That speaks volumes to me. And then when you look at all those other elements, it just came together for me.
Well, and it seems like, based on what you're talking about, is it does it in sort of a refreshing way. I mean, I looked it up as you were talking, and I mean, there's been over 400 films that have dealt with Frankenstein or Frankenstein's creature, whatever it may be, in the last 100+ years, which means this is an adaptation that spans decades. And I think that Del Toro has wanted to make this movie for, you know, pretty much his entire adult life, and pretty much any time he thought about getting into the film industry. And I'm a Del Toro fan, and I think you hit the nail on the head, I think, with sort of Del Toro's sensibilities as a director, which are, you know, bringing in that emotional impact and heft, because I think when he does that, he's at his best. Pan's Labyrinth is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it brings this reality of a revolution versus the, you know, beauty and disturbing beauty, I guess you would say, of this altered reality of this young girl. Even in Hellboy, you know, he gives Hellboy some character, and it was fun. I mean, Pacific Rim is probably his most non-humanistic movie, I guess, with just, you know, a bunch of Transformer-like robots fighting each other. But, you know, that's when he's at his best. And I think you're kind of describing it. Pinocchio as well as another great adaptation that he took a lot of time and detail with a couple of years ago, and really made something very interesting as well.
Well, and the thing is, you and I, labeling this a damn horror movie is kind of a misnomer to me. You know what I mean? You know, for my general disdain for the genre as it stands now. And to me, the best horror has always been the type that knows how to build that tension and everything.
Yeah.
Add to the mix the emotional resonance, that emotion, and it ups the game that much more.
Yeah.
And he succeeds at it wonderfully. And I other than those middle scenes, that little bit of fat, I can't find much of a fault. Isaac is wonderful. Elordi's, it depends on how the Academy feels about Netflix at any given moment. I don't know.
Yeah.
He should get nominated. I truly believe that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on the list. Obviously, I wish this would be a deeper theatrical run. Although I realize in this day and age, people like Scorsese and Del Toro and others that are kind of working in a budget that maybe doesn't make sense for the studios to work with. They need to go to Netflix or Apple or Amazon and make their passion projects. And I'm glad that places like Amazon and Apple and Netflix are willing to fork out the kind of money that it may take for them to really put their vision on screen. And I think that even though these are all like titans of the industry, you want them to have a theatrical run that maybe is more than just a weekend run or a release. But it's good that they're able to make these movies because we can find them on one streaming service or another. But obviously, as you're well aware, it's tough to beat that theatrical release and that experience on the big screen. But I am glad that he gets to make a movie like this that he doesn't have to make many concessions, if any.
Yeah, that's true. But the big regret is I wasn't able to see it on a big screen. Now I may rewatch it again on my 75-inch TV. I watched it on my 58-inch one.
Yeah.
And I may watch it again in the dark.
Yeah.
With some freshly popped popcorn and just have at it again.
That sounds like a good idea. Well, I know next week, hopefully the weather will allow you, but I'm sure you'll have Wicked for Good next week.
Yes, I will, but the weather will allow me because I'm seeing it at Universal City Walk.
Okay.
In Orlando, and yes, we're recording because.
Okay. I love the dedication.
Yeah, well, the park closes at 7 that night, so there we go.
All right, well, that sounds good. Well, we will look. Anything else that's? Are you watching anything or streaming anything, or have you caught anything that's maybe caught your attention that you want people to check out?
Not. Frankenstein was the big one. I mean, it's probably going to be the lead in the streaming column, but I'm playing with the idea of making it a standalone review.
Sure.
So, but that was the one to get on my calendar, and I did.
All right.
So I think Jay Kelly is coming up this week. I have to check to confirm.
That's another Netflix primed Oscar contender. Adam Sandler getting the buzz for supporting actor, maybe. Who knows?
We shall see. But I think that's up this week.
Okay. All right. Well, as always, you can read everything from George at beaconjournal.com. George, as always, we appreciate your time, and we will look forward to your spoiler-free Wicked for Good review next week, huh?
Now, well, how can
Exactly. I know.
A movie based on a Broadway play that is still playing, I think, be spoiler-free.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody pretty much knows what it is at this point. So,
And you want to talk about dedication? I am in the first row of the theater
on
Monday night to watch this damn.
Oh, that's not by choice, is it?
I happened to get 2 of the last 6 tickets when I found out about the Amazon Prime member early screening.
Okay.
And it's not my choice. It's by reality. And the big reason I want to see it is Paul Tazewell is an Akron native.
Yeah.
Who won the Oscar for costuming last year.
And I'm sure he'll win yet another.
I want to see if he does anything different because he, in theory, he has to.
Yeah.
Because it shifts tone. Great.
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
So at any rate, you're trying to get the heck out of here. So
no, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm fascinated. I'm glad you're going to go see it, and I'm sure if you're taking your wife, she'll look on one side and tell you what's going on, and you can look at the other side and tell her what's going on in the front row there.
We're at least in the center of the first.
Okay. Well, good luck. You'll probably have to ice down the necks afterwards, but it's all in the name of movie love. So we appreciate you doing that.
All right. We'll have the Running Man next week.
And the Running Man, yes, absolutely. All right. Well, we will talk again soon. Have a good one, George.
All right. Take it easy.